Bowlers Tour on ESPN is brought to you by Ball, home of the Hammer bowling balls and accessories, available at the finest pro shops everywhere. By True Value Hardware. For quality selection and personal attention, make True Value Hardware your store of first choice. And by Roberta Dorn, the official makeup artist of the late match is celebrating her 21st birthday a long way from home in Perth, Australia, Carol Giannotti. Qualifying third for the second week in a row is the leading money winner on the tour, Lisa Wagner. And playing from the number 2 position is a lady who won here on ESPN just 2 weeks ago, a second-year pro out of Oklahoma City, Leanne Barrett. And last week's champion will try to make it 2 in a row from Solon, Ohio. Jeannie Maiden is on top after 42 games, so she qualifies in the first position. Hello, everyone. I'm Leandra Riley, along with Leila Wagner. And if you're looking for Denny Schreiner, well, he's on assignment with the senior tour down in Florida, so I'm filling in for him. But right now, let's talk about the Lady Pro Bowling Tour. And Jeannie Maiden is first this week. Can she make 2 in a row?
I tell you what, Jeannie likes that number 1 position, Leandra, and we saw her come out strong last week and win it. And if anybody could do it, she could.
The format this week at the Don Carter Lanes is a little bit different. Usually, the final round of this afternoon. So the women who are in the stepladder finals here on ESPN really have only had a few hours off. Is that good? Is it bad? Is it better? What's your thought?
You know, I think if I was in that position, I would like to bowl that afternoon. You kind of keep your mind occupied. You don't have to worry about trying to get some sleep the night before. And especially for Carol Giannotti, who is making her first television appearance here tonight, I think it's a great advantage for her.
She doesn't have to worry about losing sleep, that's for sure. All right, let's talk about Dee Davidson. That'll be Carol's first opponent. Dee Davidson is a lefty. Now, being the only lefty in the field, definitely an advantage.
I think so. If Dee comes out, finds a shot, she doesn't have to worry about anybody wearing down her side of the lane. She's the only player on it. So if she gets lined up, she could go all the way.
All right, we'll watch to see if she gets lined up, because she is involved in our first match. It'll be Dee Davidson going up against Carol Giannotti, the Australian, against the lefty. Stay with us here. Our coverage begins right after these important messages.
There's something very interesting here. Carol Giannotti has chosen to start this match, which means she finishes last and puts the pressure on herself.
However, as you can see there with a first strike, the pressure so far hasn't gotten to her.
This is, as we mentioned earlier, her first TV appearance, and that's always a nice way to start off something as high-pressured as that. And now we're looking at Dee Davidson. She's also 21, out of Southgate, Michigan. She has 1 title so far this year.
Dee's really come on strong this year. She's gained a lot of confidence by having that 1 title. Ooh. And a nice opening shot there. She said she feels very comfortable bowling Carol in the first match. She sort of feels like she has the upper hand this time, bowling a newcomer to television. She's usually the other opponent.
Dee is under the weather. She didn't play in the Pro-Am earlier in the week. She had the flu. Just stayed in her room and tried to sleep as much as she could, and she's been making herself eat to keep her strength up. So she's not 100%, but you'd never know by the score she's been bowling as she picks that up.
We saw Dee on the show 2 weeks ago, Leandra, and she didn't really have too good of a time. Her score was quite low, and she blamed it pretty much on the ball and the way they were fitting. She said she really just didn't have a good feel and a good fit, and that's the importance of having a ball that does fit right and feels good on your hand.
How often throughout a season do you get your balls re-drilled? How often do you change something like that?
Well, actually, once you find a fit that is comfortable to your hand and that you release consistently, you pretty much stay with that same grip. However, the pros are drilling up bowling balls daily out here to... depends on the certain lane conditions that we're bowling on, if they do have equipment that fits those conditions.
And she converts that. So Carol Giannotti steps up for her second frame after bowling a first frame strike.
A nice average this week by Carol Giannotti, 205. And that is what it took to make the television show here, and that was
a 10.
10 pin. Hard enough in the back end, leaving the 6 pin in the channel. Carol's really had quite a bit of experience in competitive bowling. She just recently came back from Seoul, Korea, finished 11th in the Olympics.
Competed for Australia, was on the team.
And she joined the LPBT Tour this fall and has been very successful. She's cashed in all 3 events, so she's done quite well.
She's a lady who's been warmly embraced by the ladies' tour. Here she is, her first year, and look what they did for her. Baked a cake.
That's right.
With a kangaroo on it. That's what I liked.
See, that should encourage some young girls out there. We're not tigers out here at all.
No, not at all.
The women are actually very congenial. They have welcomed Carol, and she's a great athlete. You can tell there, the mix on the pin.
Just to tag your line about congeniality, I spoke with all of the bowlers here in the stepladder tournament, and each one of them knew that this was my first time replacing Denny Schreiner, and they all wished me good luck and wished me the best.
Well, I have to say, that's probably a very tough act to follow, too, Leandra, but
yes.
You've done great so far.
Frames.
We're going to get a very strong bowler. Perfect position there, and as she comes low, except she almost bends her shoulder a little too far, and she fell off balance there. She got away with it
a little bit.
The match.
Oh, she gets it. So, Dee Davidson, she had a spare leaving the 10-pin, but did pick it up. Now we're in the 5th frame, and you just saw 7 pins drop. She's leaving 3. Let's take another look.
Carol has a real nice game, very quick release here. However, the ball, and as you can see, they're leaving her with a 3-6-10. She's going for the conversion,
And gets it.
and she smiled. I want to cover those, but she did.
Any way you can take them.
You bet. Right now, Dee Davidson, leading by 12 pins, is going for a turkey. Definitely falling off balance there, Leander. We saw a good forward shot of her, and her timing does not look as solid as we've seen her in the past. She gets going a little bit too fast, gets the line ahead of the ball. Here you'll be able to see how her timing is a bit off. She gets to the line quickly ahead of her ball, and definitely off balance there. And the result was a 2-pin. Excuse me, 3-pin. 2-pin for a right-hander.
3-pin for a southpaw.
Right.
Yeah, you could definitely see it was almost like at the last minute she decided to add too much to it, and that threw her off. She still has the lead, though, as you can see, by 11. As she moves now into the 6th frame.
Dee really came on through the week. She qualified in the 9th position and pretty much made her move with only 3 games to go this afternoon. She drilled up a new ball last night and found out that this works, and she liked it. And that was a good shot there, just ringing the 7-pin.
Yeah, you mentioned about her drilling up another ball. The ladies travel with 8, 10, up to 14 balls. But this year, let's see if Dee can burst here. This year, you guys have a service now that you don't have to take these balls to the airport and pay the excess baggage and go through all that rigmarole, because lugging 8 bowling balls to the airport or 10 bowling balls with your regular luggage.
Well, that's right. We now have a truck that travels along with the tour, and it's really wonderful. We're having more and more stops, 9 stops on ESPN in the winter, 9 more in the fall. Carol Giat getting the line very quickly and racing up there as well, leaving herself with a 6-10. Now, this service has been great for me.
Oh, for everyone.
Carol has a very basic style, 5-step approach. She's very low at the line. I like her head position and her wrist position here. Her head doesn't move, her wrist is very solid, and she's got great knee bend.
And in contrast to Dee, she's definitely on balance. When she hits the line, everything's squared.
Well, when Dee Dee is in time, everything's pretty square with her as well. She just looks like she's getting to line
off tonight.
A little quickly.
But she said she didn't feel good tonight. She was shaking, and she made herself eat some spaghetti because of that flu problem, and certainly something like that can throw you off.
Oh, you bet. You've got the lights and everything else to consider. Yes, great shot there. The 6-pin tapping the 10, and they all fall.
And when we come back, we will
for a double here.
Little body English here, and then the prayers to heaven. And the strike for Carol Giannotti.
I tell you, Leandra, I've been very impressed by Carol's game. Like I said, she's got such a quick release that it's so strong that she's able to really bowl on all kinds of conditions. We've hit synthetic lanes last week, wood lanes this week, outside shots, inside shots, and she's just an all-around well-conditioned player. And great mental game. She's come from 37th this week after the first round to make it to qualifying, and then match game. She was very tough, moving right up the field, and hung on today for the 4th position.
And she gets the turkey.
You see there, setting up very short, very quick release, a lot of rotation on the ball, and when her ball hits the pins, there's no doubt it's going to be a strike.
Dee Dee Davidson, the best she can do is a 213 total.
She virtually needs this one in the 9th to have any chance at all for this match. St. Carrie, come on. All right. Looking for the first one in the 10th frame right now, trailing by 22 pins.
Cross side hopper along, and it goes.
Actually, too much power on the last 2 shots on lane 7. She wants to come in a little bit lighter like she did that time and gets the tap from the 4-pin.
Now trails by 12 with this strike here.
Here you can see the ball not finishing as hard into the head pin. The 4 slaps the 7. Off comes the head pin off the wall to help it, and she got the first one. She definitely needs this one to stay in the match. Oh.
Nope.
Felt it was a good shot. Left a 6-pin. The ball coming in a little high. And she's going to force Carol Giannotti actually to spare. She'll need a good count and a spare to win the match. Dee Dee looking at a 202 game with this spare.
And does it. That takes some of the pressure off of Carol Giannotti.
It does, but Carol Giannotti needs 8 pins. My first ball.
Ooh. Oh!
I guess that was a happy birthday present, Carol, right there.
Yes.
It's a big smile, a big sigh of relief. A 7-pin or a 6-pin bucket and a miss could have been disastrous for her, and she sailed it to the right. Didn't quite come back, and the pins just mixed around.
Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Happy birthday, Carol.
She's waiting. Yeah, there's the smile. Well, she knew she needed the 8, so the 9 was all right, but getting the strike certainly is an added plus.
Well, Dee Dee finishing 5th takes home a nice
2,100. Bad.
For the flu.
And Carol Giannotti really looks very poised out there. Finishes with 202. So it'll be Carol Giannotti facing Lisa Wagner coming up next as our stepladder match continues with the second match. A sad story here with an upbeat ending, I should say. This is a get-well card to a young lady, Stacy Summers, who is the daughter of the owner of these Don Carter lanes. To Stacy with lots of prayers and love, and she is in the hospital, but feeling better as I understand it, but seriously ill.
That's right. The daughter of John Summer, who is the general manager here at Don Carter Lanes and also the chairman of the board for the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, and his wife Nancy are not here this evening. They are with Stacy, who is in Madison, Wisconsin, the hospital up there, and we'd all like to wish her a very quick recovery and tell her our hearts and prayers are all with her, and everybody down here loves her and misses her.
And we know she's watching, so we hope she has some exciting action to take her mind off her illness. And now let's get on with bowling. Second match. Wagner. Lisa Wagner, the all-time women's single-season record average with a 213. She certainly leads the league in just about every category, but 1988 in earnings seems to be really the banner. As we watch now, Carol Giannotti bowling first.
Lisa has chosen to let Carol start the match, putting the pressure on Carol.
Carol doesn't mind.
And I tell you what, with 5 on the deck and getting away with a light hit like that, she's going to say, thank you very much. This might be my day. We saw Lisa Wagner qualify third last week.
And third this week.
She did win her first match. She then went up against Jeannie Maiden. Jeannie Maiden was too tough for Lisa last week and captured the title. However, Lisa finished second, and boy, did that headpin come off the wall as Lisa smiles. One thing about this player, a lot of power.
We may have a rematch because Jeannie Maiden finished first this week, so if Lisa Wagner prevails, we could see another Wagner-Maiden showdown. The pressure's been on Lisa Wagner to crack that $100,000 in a single-season plateau, and this year she's earned $86,950. And first, certainly put her very close to that goal.
It sure would, with 3 tournaments coming up, finishing up this year with our Samstown National Championships that has a first place prize of $30,000, which we'd all like to get our hands on.
Now, Carol Giannotti and Lisa Wagner have met twice before, with Lisa Wagner prevailing in both 233 to 169 and 209 to 190.
That was only in the match.
But that's when Giannotti was 20 years old. Now she's 21.
That's right. She was much younger then. Less experienced all of yesterday, right?
Right.
That was in match game competition. They did meet in the position round for the fourth position. However, nobody was really pushing for the show, except this was the 9th consecutive week that our show has been determined by the final position game.
Round.
So it's been very exciting.
And just to put that in perspective for people who don't follow bowling that much, they do bowl 42 games, and it's a lot of bowling, and finally things shake out to that last day, and you've got that match play where the person who's currently in first bowls the person who's second, the third person bowls the fourth, and it's all the way down the line through all 12 pairs. And the battle for that 5th position, so crucial and so exciting. Everybody's running back and forth, checking everybody's scores. It's a lot of fun watching that final match play.
It was a 4th and 5th position this week.
This week it was. The 4th position was in jeopardy, that's right.
7th and 8th were going for 4th and 5th, and they were back and forth. So
and our eyeballs were going back and forth trying to keep track of everybody's score.
That's right. I know I lost a few pounds today.
Running the lanes.
Okay, Jack.
Carol Giannotti leaving herself with a 10-pin there. Converts the spare, and she looks very, very calm, Leander. I am very impressed with this lady.
I think she's really adjusted to being on the professional tour. You figure she's been away from home for so long now, having been in Seoul, Korea at the Olympic Games, and then coming to the United States. Not only the time changes, but the cultural changes. And even though they speak English in Australia, there's still so many sociological and diet differences and just living differences between the two countries.
Well, her roommate, Wendy McPherson, who is a very good player on the women's tour, has been able to help her out. She met Wendy when the 5 of the players went over to Australia last year and bowled in the America's Cup Challenge. And I tell you, it's great to know that you can go over there and meet other players and have them come on over and bowl on our tour. And she said Wendy really has helped her out quite a bit.
What a great cultural exchange that is, too. To live in Australia with a family, come over here, live in the States.
Well, she's going to commute. She is going home for Christmas and said she'll be back next year. So with as much success as she's had so far, I don't blame her. Her airfare's a little higher, so I think her expenses are a little higher.
A lot higher. She needs to win so she can get home for Christmas.
That's right.
Whoa. She picks it up on a last-second spin out there. Something that Lisa Wagner listed on her bio sheet is her auto racing prowess. Her husband, Kent, races automobiles. He's also a professional bowler. Lisa describes herself as a pit crew chief. So she's involved in sports in many aspects as we take a look at her form.
Well, here, Lisa has a 5-step approach, and once again, probably the best game on the women's tour. Very basic. Look at how steady she is at the line. Head position, wrist position. Even though she did cross over on the other strike, she's able to double.
So Lisa Wagner
Carol just went on the Brooklyn side for her double, as we saw Lisa cross over in the 3rd frame. The glove that Carol's wearing, as you notice, Pete Weber also wears one on the men's tour. They find that they get less wear and tear on the fingers, whatnot. They get a little bit more lift, and
it's really like a batting glove, and they just cut the thumb out.
Or a racquetball glove.
Right.
Oh, and I tell you what, Lisa demolishes the pins there, throwing the 5 right in front of the 7. A tough break, as she just paid back her Brooklyn strike, as we call it, and it looks like it's on the edge of the lane.
Now, a Brooklyn strike is one that comes through the other side of the pocket instead of for a right.
A Jersey strike as well, so I guess I probably really shouldn't call it that, but I grew up in Seattle, and that's what we called it.
Brooklyn strike.
That's right.
And now we are even.
Sixth career title this evening. Excuse me, 688 career title. And she also has the goal. Patty Costello's record of 26 professional titles. So she doesn't have far to go with a long career ahead of her, only 27 years of age.
Yes. And now she is plus 10.
You know, something else about Leandra's game.
Starting Leandra, Leila, and
wow, I
and
knew
Lisa.
I was going to get that.
We knew it was going to happen.
Something else about Carol's game, Leandra, is the fact that, you know, she just goes up and gets the job done. She doesn't have much of a push away. She actually pushes the ball down very quickly, and she's at the line and low. Quick release. And, I'll tell you what,
That's 4 in a row. So Carol Giannotti responding well to pressure and enjoying her first television appearance. Our coverage of the set did what we've been doing during the commercials. She threw a strike. And that was in the 7th frame. She is now ready to bowl in the 8th frame. She trails by 10.
Lisa looking for the strike here to put the match back to even.
And it's even.
A position Lisa Wagner's been in many times before and has come out of smelling like a rose. When she needs the strike, she usually gets it. There's a great shot of they're very low.
Great form.
Can't say too much more of that.
Yes. And the 5th strike.
And
for Carol Giannotti.
Carol answering Lisa's strike. In the United States is not apparently not.
Has the highest average. She's throwing strikes. And now leads by 20.
I don't think Lisa thought she was going to have it this tough as coming in here, but this is where you never underestimate a new player. And Lisa's TV pair average 186. And stone cold leaves the 10-pin there, and she stands and just stared it down almost. Tried to stare it down. The scores were Leandra, and conditioning from pair to pair, especially from end to end.
Let's talk about the lane situation. Since this is a different format, since the have any time to strip the lane, wash them down, and and reconditioned them, but...
Well, they did them according to what happens overnight, and when we come back, and we are not stripping our lanes every night. The lane conditioner does build up during the week, so the girls are expecting to have the lanes a little bit tighter as they come into the TV show anyway. This week, low, because you couldn't swing the ball right up. Here you can see the ball hitting very high, and she got a great break knocking out the 4-pin and the 10-pin. And thank you. Did stay this week because you really Jerry and the players that throw the ball very hard, very who we before, and she really opens up the area, swings the ball, and she's really just the exception to the rule.
All right, Lisa Wagner looking at a 237 maximum. Has cut the lead to just 11 points for Carol Giannotti. And ends up with 235.
268. She needs a mark in the 10th frame to win the match. Not taking much time. She just let that ball go, and it's right there.
Right in the pocket.
Her carry light before, and that's the finish that she wanted to see. Didn't want to have to shoot for a spare. Get it over in one ball. What a performance by this youngster.
Yeah.
She says, hey, it's my birthday. I deserve a title on my birthday.
Lisa Wagner will now have $89,400 because she has $2,500 for finishing fourth. So she moves up from $86,900 to $89,400 with her winnings.
She doesn't look like she's real happy.
It's been a slow creep up recently to get to the $100,000 mark. It's really been tough.
Well, after you win so many times, she feels she doesn't like to lose.
Sure. It's Carol Giannotti going up against Leanne Barrett, an announcer's nightmare as Leandra Lee Island talk about bowling after these messages. Leanne Barrett of Oklahoma State. To say it, but you think somebody would have learned by now to don't, well, now this time it worked.
Well,
she finally didn't open with a strike.
That's right. Or put the pressure on your opponent in the end. Carol
Right.
Giannotti now must get up and finish the match, which is what they want to do.
Right.
They do not want the pressure on themselves. And here you can see Carol's
What a contrast
average.
in their averages, yeah, from
206.
season to tonight.
Well, that's her season average for the past 3 weeks, which has been very good. Enabled her to cash for $1,900 up to this point. Very consistent top 24 finalist.
She's really bowling well tonight. Well, this is our third 21-year-old, Leanne Barrett. It's really been a young night.
Yes, I think
Not
I'm
that Lisa
getting too
Wagner is old at 27, or Jeannie Maiden at 30. Young.
Yes, it is, and it's wonderful. We're 100-plus entries in most of our tournaments these days, and here you just saw a shot of what happened this week when you threw the ball too far to the right. It slid out and didn't quite get back. It's what we call a washout.
All right, now how do you pick it up?
You want to hit the 1 pin on the left-hand side, so sliding it into the 10, and one of the major mistakes and makes you so mad is when you throw that 1 right around the 10. So exactly, that's what you want to go for right here. That's where she's going, and she got it.
No.
Oh, yes! And she just got the last-minute luck tap.
She should have gotten it. She deserved it.
And
Smile there.
she went for it the right way.
It looked good.
That's right. She slid the 1 right into the 10. Well, actually in front of it, and it
spins
just
around
said,
and
hey, I'm going to hit you. Are you ever going to fall? Leanne qualifying second this week. Had a very solid week, starting out 4th after the first round, went to 8th, then moved into 2nd, and her and Jeannie were actually battling for 1st and 2nd all yesterday, and she said she had a little shoulder problem this afternoon and was not able to really bowl well, and she was lucky to hang on to that 2nd position.
that demoralizing? When you see somebody with a difficult split like that, they pick it up?
Well, the washout really is not that difficult. I don't know what the percentages are. I would say a good percentage they will pick it up. It's when they do, it's a little demoralizing when they pick up a very difficult, maybe the 6, 7, 10, or these type of things, because you think, wow, maybe I have an opening in the first frame, and yet they pick it up, and then
you don't.
You go,
right.
Whoa.
Let me ask you the other side of the coin. Does it like that? Again, I realize the washout not that difficult, but still.
Yes, it does.
It's difficult.
You're thinking.
Right after that.
That's right. I made a bad shot. She's going to adjust for it here on lane 8. The ball slid out on her last time. See what kind of adjustment she makes. And I tell you what.
She tweaked it in.
She looked really comfortable in practice. She said the lane seemed pretty close to what they had been for her all week, playing once again right in between the second and third arrow. And this is where Leanne can create more area than some of these other players, where they send the ball out farther than the second arrow. Their ball just never made it back, and Leanne's always seemed to make it back. This is her 3rd championship round appearance this year.
The first of the fall tour, she defeated Alita Sill 279-276. That was a great television match.
And extraordinary coming down to the final ball in that first week of our play.
And we're going to break this tour.
We have Earl Widman from Light to Left, the chairman of the board for Fab Ball Enterprises. John Wonders was next to him, the president of Fab Ball Enterprises, and Dennis Baldwin, who is the president of Ball Maryland. Gentlemen who have been on the women's tour, things for the women's tour. Carol Giannotti answering back with a turkey. And here we are, dead even. Oh. Her ball hooking a little bit too quick for her that time. Not giving herself the area to the right that she had, not really trusting it. Feeling a little bit of the pressure, as you can see here. The ball just snaps right on the head pin. Leaving her with a 6-10. She almost had a split.
She converts.
Little smile there as she converts the 6-10 spare.
Now Leanne is enjoying a 2-pin lead. And she is bowling in the 5th frame. Coming off of 3 strikes.
And the last performance of Leanne Barrett was to go through the whole field 2 weeks ago. So she
qualifying 5th and just worked her way up the ladder.
One thing about Leanne, doesn't show a lot of emotion. You really can't tell whether she threw a strike, didn't throw a strike, or didn't throw bad shot, good shot, or whatever. But she just really doesn't show too much emotion. Very unique approach, almost going left and then coming back to the right. But she gets the job done.
Right, she does kind of step out to the left and come back out right.
Once again, a very quick release also with her hand. Very strong hand position. A lot of rotation on the ball. That enables her to create the area for a 1-pin match. It's Leanne Barrett is ahead 99-98 in the 4th frame, and both players have a spare in the 5th.
Now, we should add that the players are allowed to warm up further down in the bowling center, on lanes 30 and so forth. But how long does it take you to adjust? 1 ball, 2 balls? I know they get to warm up earlier before we're on television on lanes 7 and 8, which are the lanes we're using. But how long does it take you to figure out exactly the groove on a particular lane, the track?
Well, it can take quite a while. You know, it just depends on how quick they come in.
How long does it take you?
They get a few balls. Sometimes it never. My television record looks like I never get lined up. Very difficult spare here. Leanne trying to hit on the right side of that 6-pin to slide it over to the 7, and didn't quite do it there as she opens the door for Carol Giannotti. Another shot of her glove. As you can see there, she puts her fingers in first, then her thumb. Doesn't waste much time.
Ooh, hit that one head on.
And now we see another kind of a split, what we call a baby split, the 3-10. Carol will try to put the ball
on the left side of the 3.
Between them.
Oh, between them.
Right between them. On the right side of the 3. hitting the pins with the ball. It can be made the other way, but
if you're left-handed, would you do the same thing?
If you're left-handed, you would try to do the same thing.
And bolt right past the 3.
Once again, a one-point match. And Leanne Barrett is up by 1 pin. So these players are right now saying, well, maybe, do you want it?
Do you, it's funny, too, because both ladies had 3 strikes in the earlier frames and now just have fallen apart a little bit here.
Well, they're feeling the pressure a little bit more. They're in the second match that's going to lead them up to the final match. They got to bear down and stay firm. Both of those last split shots, they quite get the results.
Carol Giannotti needs 7th frame, coming off a 6th frame that was open.
She reared up on the last shot, leaving herself with a 6-7, giving it room that time. And I tell you what, that headpin's gonna get the 10. No, as she turns around going, shoot. She almost got the headpin off the wall. Definitely gave it a little bit more room to the right, the ball not quite making it back.
I think she needed a Lisa Wagner leer. Wagner stared one down.
Wagner tried to stare one down. It didn't go, but Leanne was waiting for that one. Leanne had a little problem converting the 10-pin this week. As I saw her just miss this one, I did see her miss
Now, why does it happen?
Well, she's got quite a bit of a hook, and she doesn't really flatten her ball out to the 10, as you see a lot of professionals do. The ball hits the center lane, hooks a little bit too much. As you see, it just whizzed by that 10 there, and that was a crucial mistake for Leanne. Leanne trying to recover now in the 8th frame, looking for a strike. She trails by 10. And
she found it.
Carol Giannotti looking for a double now in the 8th frame, wanting to apply the pressure once again. So far, she looks real good at doing it. She's averaging 238 here this night. Shooting 222 the first game, 254 the second game.
And gets her 2nd strike in a row. And now leads by 20.
She really has good ball speed here this evening, keeping it right up the second, right up about the 13th board between the 2nd and 3rd arrow. She's getting away with the light hits. She's getting away with the frozen ropes, as we call them, that go just a little bit more speed and just straight up the boards. And she has a lot of rotation on the ball that knocks the pins down.
Giannotti in the 9th frame.
Looking to trip the 4, and this woman has a big
her 2nd turkey of this match.
She leads by 30 over Leanne Barrett. Leanna definitely looking for the strike in the 9th here to stay in the match. Once again, Carol putting the pressure on her opponent. Now, that was a nice angle there. As you could see her ball rotating right over the 3rd arrow.
Now she trails by 20.
See the ball.
Nice angle.
Deep inside, going out to the right. And this is a sharp hook that it makes. And just 10 in the pit there. With 2 strikes here in the 10th, she will force Carol Giannotti to spare. Actually, with 2 strikes here, with 2 more strikes here, if she strikes out, she forces Carol Giannotti to get the first strike, as she will have a possible 225 game. Carol Giannotti has a possible 245 game. Needing this one. Oh!
Leaves one up.
I tell you, she couldn't have really thrown it too much better than that. Ball coming in a little bit late behind the head pin as she looks up at the scoreboard. Here you can see the ball going out a little farther to the right as it makes a sharp break back, and the 6th pin just wrapping the 10. And She misses the 10-pin to the other side, as you can see the adjustment there.
213. Final score for Leanne Barrett.
And as our statistician, Lisa Bent, is
furiously calculating here.
That's right. Carol Giannotti up in the 10th, crossing over.
She hit the head pin almost straight on.
She did almost hit it straight on. She was very lucky to leave herself with
just one.
A 9-pin there. As a spare conversion here, she'll win the match. Without a spare right here, she could lose this match. Carol Giannotti with a strike will have a 224 game. And she has this match down. So she will advance into the championship match against Jeannie Maiden. Oh, and we almost
with an 8.
Lily as she just gets the 5-pin out. However,
so Leanne Barrett will get $3,000 for finishing third. After finishing second after all of the matches this week, she is eliminated by Carol Giannotti, and it'll be Giannotti against Maiden for the $10,000 first place paycheck.
And Maureen Ravine finishing 21st.
Lori Nichols winning this event last year. Now, other finishers.
Donna Adamek in 22nd, Stacy Ryder, Jan Schmidt, and Betty Morris alternate, just missing the 24 position. The other cashers this week, Jolene Fetta, Diana Davenport, Anne Marie Pike, Bonnie Joel, and Jody Wallace finishing in 30th.
And Leila, I'm going to break some hearts here. Dan, Cliff, Paul, Ron, Steve, CD, and Chad. I hate to break your hearts, but Leila's married.
Oh,
but I hear there's room for a coach.
Oh, hey, you know, I take all the love out there I can get.
Or a dinner date. All right,
Hey,
back to business. So let's take a look at the winner of the Pro-Am here. I think our producer, George Smith, likes that poster.
I didn't see George on that poster.
Yeah, George, he wanted to sign. They wouldn't let him.
He didn't help make it. He couldn't.
Well, the winner of our Pro-Am, John Anderson, presented a check to Rex Strauss earlier, or Rex Summers, rather, earlier. And now I believe our ladies are ready. There they are.
They were out there somewhere. That's Rex Summers, the brother of John Summers, who is
John Anderson
manager.
on the left.
A nice $1,000 Pro-Am check.
John Anderson, the manager of Don Carter Lanes. And now the applause are for these two ladies. Jeannie Maiden, who won this event last week. You saw her on television. And this, of course, is Carol Giannotti, the rookie.
The rookie who looks like a veteran out here this evening.
What a happy birthday this is turning out to be.
Sure is.
She knows she's getting a minimum of $5,000 just for standing there.
Jeannie Maiden letting Carol Giannotti start the match.
I think
she's looking down at her thumb here. She's evidently having
she's
a
also
little
pulling at the glove too. She's having a problem.
Not quite getting the right feel, as that ball there may have hung up on her a little bit as she went through the nose.
I enjoy watching Jeannie Maiden when the other lady bowls. She always looks at her feet. She refuses to watch her competitor.
Well, Jeannie recently has been bowling so superbly, and she credits that to her mental game. She says it's just strengthened so much. She normally doesn't really bowl well in the fall tours. She usually does well in the summers, and she's just had a great fall, winning last week.
And the week before, she didn't bowl that well on television, and what an adjustment she made to come back the following week and finish first. And then, after 42 games here, qualify first. Nice form. Really
nice form. 5-step approach. Good position. Now, Jeannie wears a wristband, unlike some of the other players we've seen on the telecast this evening, to help strengthen her wrist. She's very low at the line. Great extension. As you can see there, her left arm very far back for balance. And very consistent, as she has had a 17 300 games. She is also being inducted to the Ohio Bowling Council Hall of Fame this month in Columbus.
Now, Jeannie's from Solon, Ohio, which is just outside of Cleveland. So it's a real honor for her to get inducted into the State Hall of Fame.
Yes, at an age of 30. Yeah. Here she carries the light hit. As we can see, this shot. When you start carrying your light hits, that helps you loosen up a little bit early in a match. She gets the pins coming off the wall, and her reaction here, kind of helping it. Carol looking for the light hit there, leaving herself almost with the bucket, but it's the 2. Excuse me, the 2 is gone. No, the 2 is still there. I think I need glasses tonight. The 2-8,
it's only
258. Hello. Carol averaging 232 this evening. Lisa Vint next to me, our scorekeeper, is giving me a time here because I'm missing the numbers.
Struggling
of the
with the pins. There's 3 standing, and now there are none standing, so she gets a spare, and
that's what
we'll
happens.
take it that way.
That's what happens when you don't make the finals. You forget what you're doing. I couldn't find the head pin this week either, Leander.
Well,
so.
And you couldn't find it there. Just so our viewers know, where we are positioned right now to watch this match is just behind Jeannie Maiden's right shoulder. So we're almost in front of lane 10. A little off to the right and behind the lanes.
Carol definitely letting up on her speed that time. That happened a lot here this week. If you didn't keep your ball speed up, the ball hooked instantly on you in the early part of the lane. And she tried to compensate for the light hit on lane 8, and it really wasn't the right thing to do. She's got to keep her speed up and stay firm. And she converts the spare.
Is fatigue a factor? She's bowled all morning. She's bowled for 4 days. Now she's got to bowl more games than anybody else in the television appearance, and she keeps winning. Does her concentration lapse after doing that kind of bowling?
It does, however, once you get tuned in the television show, you know, you're really on a high, and you just want to stay up and keep yourself pumped up, and I think that's how she's feeling. Jeannie going through the nose, looking at a very difficult split here, the 6-7-10, as we saw Leanne Barrett have to shoot at it earlier. She will try to slide the 6-pin over into the 7. Jeannie switching bowling balls to do so, going to a shinier surface bowling ball to cause the ball to slide a little bit more. Jeannie also let up on her ball speed that time. That's
she hit the 6 head on, so it didn't kick over.
A very common mistake, Leandra, with the
Is it the fear of the channel? Is that it? You just stay away from that?
Oh, no. When they shoot the 6-7-10, unless you're actually going for it, it's very difficult. You want to get the amount of pins. I mean, you're not going to necessarily go for the spare this early in the match. She's going to go for 2, get the pin count, because you never know what's going to happen towards the end. A common mistake in the women professionals is speed control. Seem to let up on her speed many times, so she gets it back that time, just demolishing the rack there, and comes back with a strike.
And that's kind of a psychological advantage, too, when you really demolish the rack.
Carol Giannotti.
Hold the spare in the 3rd frame.
Not taking much time as she just gets up there and gets the job done as she demolishes rack, throwing the 5-pin into the 7. That's the kind of pin action you like to see. You know your ball is rotating very well. A lot of fingers in the ball as the 5-pin just blows out.
We have a pretty vocal and animated crowd here at the Don Carter lanes.
Well, we've been here the last 10 years that I've been on tour, and a few years
before that. This is the 16th year here. Well, actually, 16th year in Rockford, 15th at these lanes. It was wide in the pocket there.
Well, she left the 5-8 last time, or excuse me, 5-9 last time on lane 7, crossing over. This time she leaves the 1, 2, 4, 10, a washout. Her ball sails out. She got it outside the 2nd arrow. It didn't make it back. We saw a lot of those
now,
this week.
Does she have to get like a Brooklyn pocket here to
exactly. We saw Leanna Barrett pick this up earlier, and we saw Carol Giannotti pick it up as she slides the head pin right into the 10.
Jeannie Maiden, 9th year on the tour. And this is her 30th career TV appearance, her 7th appearance on television this year.
Jeannie won South Bend, Indiana earlier this year, and also Baltimore, Maryland. So she has 2 titles under her belt this year.
Jeannie has earned over $40,000 this year, having a very good year.
And this is the reason why she has been able to do this so many times. She is second in earnings behind Lisa Wagner.
And second in average behind Lisa Wagner, and second in points behind Lisa Wagner. But Jeannie Maiden's here tonight, and Lisa Wagner's been eliminated. And that's the story. The winner will get $10,000, the loser $5,000.
Well, Jeannie really credits her coach, Phil Celia, who owns Celia's Custom Fit Pro Shop, for her success thus far this year. She's been working on her physical and her mental game, and I was talking to her a little bit about, she does switch balls very quickly in qualifying and in the finals, and she just feels like you've got to have guts to do this, and if you're not going anywhere, you need to switch. And this is why she has 7 career titles, because she has made those switches very quickly.
Now she's head by 9.
Oh, and that ball almost slid off into the channel as she turns around and looks at it and says, I almost missed that. Well, not wanting to hook by it, going the opposite way as the ball just slides, and I think that was a surprise to Jeannie.
Yes,
and it was a surprise to me that she ended up picking it up there as we saw it head for the channel. Carol looking to strike.
Oh, 10 stays up.
A good shot. The ball not quite breaking in hard enough, leaving herself with a weak 10 as the 6-spin sits in the channel. And it's still wiggling. And Carol Giannotti trailing by 10 pins at this point. And this is Jeannie concentrating
and not watching. She does not watch her opponent.
She stays within tune, within herself.
I guess that's very important. You really have no control over what your opponent is doing, and
well, when you get
getting anxious about it won't help. You might as well concentrate on what you have to do.
You get to this level of play, so much of this game is mental, and you can either defeat yourself or not.
I would think it'd be a difficult position, too, coming in and just bowling one game, qualifying first. You just have to wait until your opportunity to bowl presents itself.
That's true, and we did see Jeannie do it last week, and she came out and won, so she's coming in on a high note there. She knows she can do it.
And qualified first throughout. She really dominated this week.
Come on.
Jeannie up in the 7th frame.
In match play this week, she already defeated Giannotti once, 232 to 174.
Very nice strike there.
124 in the 6th frame.
Jeannie also credits the Dodgers player Earl Hershiser.
Oral Hershiser,
Earl
yes.
Hershiser. I haven't been following baseball this
He's also
year
known as Clark Kent.
But he
a real Superman for the Dodgers.
He's been an inspiration to her mentally, and she just really felt that his mental game was very strong, and things that he said the other night helped to inspire her this week. As you can see a look at the scoreboard. Jeannie Maiden leading by 12, 124 to 112 in the 6th frame. As she let that one out a little bit too far and not quite getting the ball back, but she leaves herself only with the 7-pin.
Well, Hershiser in game 2 went 3 for 3 at the bat, or at the plate, and that's something pitchers don't do that often. So Hershiser's been an inspiration, not just for Jeannie Maiden, but for a lot of people around the country.
Well, that's what's so important about having professional athletes out there to watch, to learn from.
That's right.
Role models, idols.
Right. And I know a lot of people would like to be more like Lisa Wagner, so you've got quite a few fans running around here, and I think the Ladies Pro Bowling Tour is very popular among all of the centers. You see the fans, your accessibility. They see the wholesomeness of the tour and the fun that it generates. And I think the classic example is Carol Giannotti getting a birthday cake, and here she's only been on the tour a few months. And she's been well received by the players.
Weeks. She's only
You're right, a few weeks.
3 weeks.
She just joined in the fall. That's right, because she was in Korea with the Olympic team.
That's
so.
right. And she trails here by 13 pins in the final match. I think she's feeling a little bit of the pressure going for that title. She looks a little bit tighter, not quite getting the carry. And that's what happens when you tighten up just a little bit. All of a sudden, those 4 pins, those 10 pins stand. Your arm swing's not quite as loose. And I know a lot of people out there that are watching realize that when they bowl in tournaments or league play, when the pressure comes, you tighten up that arm swing. It seems like those 10 pins always stand up for you. That happened to me this week.
Is it a heavier pin? I swear.
It's glued down.
Yes. Giannotti trailing by 13.
Jeannie Maiden looking down, playing with her necklace as she just takes her mind off of it, knowing she can wrap this up. She really does have the advantage here. She is the more experienced player going for the titles. Just winning last week from that #1 position. It's a positive attitude, and this is what she's thinking. Positive thoughts.
Giannotti a bit frustrated. Things aren't just happening for her in this game like they were in her earlier matches.
No, but an excellent finish here this week. If she does finish in the second position.
$5,000.
She almost lost that 4th place position this afternoon. I think she was feeling a little bit of pressure to make the TV show. She dropped out, did come back, qualified 4th, and she's got to be happy with that. She said earlier that she didn't think this was going to happen this quick out here. 3 weeks, 3 finals, a TV show.
Her first TV show, and she's in 2nd place, possibly 1st yet.
A look at Jeannie's concentration in her eyes. She zeroes in on her target.
And she leaves a 10. Seems to be a problem on lane 8.
Well, when you come in from the angle that these players are coming in, Leandra, they're coming in from an inside line. Either the ball hits late behind the head pin, which causes the 6 pin to throw around the 10, or they actually come in weak into the pocket. It's not the best angle to try to get a lot of strikes. However, these players have thrown quite a few strikes this evening. And Jeannie looking for the spare conversion as we saw the ball almost go into the channel last time. She converted that one very
well, yes. Didn't have any channel hangers there for us.
Jeannie Maiden at this point needs 9 pins to lock up the match. She needs to keep her speed up, as that's been her only mistake thus far in the match. Has been a speed adjustment in the 3rd frame where she left a 6, 7, 10 split.
How do you increase your speed? Is it your follow through? Is it your arm swing? What gives you more speed on the ball?
With Jeannie, it's her push away. She's got to keep her push away higher, gets her more speed on the ball, and she got a break there. And she gets the 9 pin. She locks up the match. I don't know if she really realizes it at this point. She gave a little bit of a smile as she broke up the 4, 5, 7 split and left herself with only a 5 pin.
And let's see if she can pick this one up. So this match is all locked up.
Oh, we're getting she needed 9 spare 8 to lock up the match. She did not just need 9 pins.
We're a frame ahead. She needed a 9 spare and an 8 now.
So now she needs 8 pins to lock up the match. Or just keeping the fans on edge.
All right, now she needs 8 to win.
8 to win.
Well, you were just predicting last time you thought she needed 8.
If she leads 7, it could be a possible tie. And that was the strike for the title.
That's a statement. And Carol knows it, and Jeannie Maiden just lets out a sigh of relief.
2 weeks in a row, Jeannie Maiden taking the championship check of $10,000 home. Last week, they presented her the plaque. She said, well, now she can make bookends out of it. I don't know, what does the 3rd bookend do for you?
I don't know, because this is her third victory. That's right.
3rd victory in a Hammer tournament, and she'll receive a lovely Hammer plaque for this victory. And Carol Giannotti taking home a 2nd place check of $5,000, which will definitely help her get home to Australia. And not a bad birthday present.
That'll pay for the ticket and a few Christmas gifts when she does go home.
That's right. A remarkable showing by this young lady, 21 years of age, averaging 232, prior to this match, bowling possible 188 here for her first time on television. She should not be ashamed. I'm sure she's made Australia very happy.
Well, Jeannie Maiden, the lady who's winning here tonight, with a 202, it's kind of bittersweet. It's not necessarily the best score she could have gotten, but it did the job, and I guess that's all that matters.
Final score 202 to 184. Jeannie Maiden over Carol Giannotti for the title of the $50,000 Hammer Midwest Open.
So Jeannie Maiden let it get a little closer than she would have liked, and receiving the congratulations, but looks a little amazed that she did it with a 202. When we come back, we will wrap up the action here in Rockford, Illinois. For Leila Wagner, I'm Leander Riley at the 50,000. But a little close there.
Exactly. I didn't feel as well as I did when we were warming up. The lights had a lot to do with the conditions, and I thought we were going to score better, but neither one of us really bowled terrific.
Leila?
Well, coming in against Carol Giannotti, she looked tough, Jeannie. What were your feelings? I mean, did this surprise you?
It did because, you know, today's her birthday, and I thought, well, maybe she's going to win. Who knows? But, you know, both of us were kind of nerved the last game. I know. I didn't bowl my game as well as I thought I could have.
But you got a championship out of it.
I'll take it. Thanks.
All right, our presenter right now is John Anderson. He is the manager of Don Carter Lanes. So, John?
Made a lot of your fans happy in Rockford. Congratulations.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having us. Thank you, John, for hosting the tournament this year. The fans have been great this week, and we hope we come back next year.
And now let's bring in John Wonders, who is the president of Faball Enterprises.
Jeannie, congratulations on the part of everybody at Faball. You're making a habit out of this, and I hope you got a big wall to put all these plaques on you.
Thank you, John. I will.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
Nice bowling.
And thank you again for sponsoring the tournament. On behalf of all the girls, you know, we had a terrific time here in Rockford and also last week in Baltimore. Thanks again.
All right, so you have made it 2 in a row. Congratulations to you. We're going to break away, and when we come back, we'll have some more thoughts. But right now, let's break away from the action. Congratulations once again to Jeannie Maiden with 2.